bunch of misfits I ever set eyes on.
Good morning, Misfits. You are tuning into another episode of the Misfit Podcast. On today's show, Paige and I will be doing an open review and a quarterfinals preview. I will say right off the top here that we are not going to go in depth on the podcast about quarterfinals. We're going to talk to you guys about what we thought when we first saw the workouts, some general thoughts. We're not going to hide our opinions on them. But then tomorrow, Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern time, we're going to do a group call where we're going to go over everything. We're going to talk about order. We're going to talk about the different avatars that would present, strategies 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all that different stuff, warm-ups, cool-downs, what you should do on certain days, etc. on that. And it's not really about gatekeeping. It's not really about whether you give us money or not. It's really just, this is a narrowed window of athletes, and I want to deliver the information to Misfits directly, and I want them to be able to ask questions. So we're going to put more eggs into that basket. So if you want the email with the link to get into that, you got to sign up for one of our programs, or you can get into our Telegram, and the link will be in there as well. So you got to do a little bit of legwork on your own, but it's a free trial on the program side, and Telegram is free. So if you're willing to put in a little bit of work to be able to join the call and ask the questions and listen to us talk, then you can come in. So somewhere between everyone gets to listen and full on gatekeeping of you have to pay us. So I just wanted to put that out there to start. A little bit of housekeeping, and then we'll jump right into it. If you are, true rain or shine crew, if you're a true podcast listener, the end of the episode, we will have a new segment called Coaches Are People Too, where we'll just, yap a little bit about whatever the heck we want. And maybe we'll keep that at the end of the podcast moving forward, or maybe we put it at the beginning and you don't need to listen, or you can click the chapters thing. Or if I forget to put the chapters in, then you can figure it out. So, okay, next steps programming wise, we've been getting a few questions about this, and we made a little bit of an update to some of the answers that we gave in Telegram, and I will put this in Telegram as well. But first and foremost, if you are a semifinals athlete in any division, individual, age group, team, potentially, that would be a whole different can of worms, but we're always here to help everybody. So if you're going in person, at a competition, if you're doing it online, contact us after quarterfinals, and we will help you plan your semifinals prep dates. And then we'll probably just do some separate channels on Telegram so that you guys can ask direct questions. Ask direct.
Got it.
Oh my goodness. Try to say it twice fast.
Ask direct questions. Yeah, that's hard.
That was too easy.
No, that's actually kind of, there's hesitation.
Too easy. So you can ask us questions directly. So contact us for that. Post quarterfinals, next Monday, the week of March 30th is cherry picking week. We have a program in there, and then I am also going to share the Misfit Benchmarks PDF. If you want to check in on one of the benchmarks, you want to do it for the first time, great. I will share a preview of the Misfit affiliate programming, and then everyone who has access to Hatchet and Masters also has access to GPP. So you have all of that stuff to choose from. Go take an affiliate class, go for a jog, get on your bike, get outside, do single sessions, double sessions, triple sessions. The idea is to do basically whatever the hell you want, so that there's a little bit less stress involved with that. The week after that, of Monday, April 6th, is something that I've used quite a bit in the remote coaching world, and something that I think could be helpful in our transition from big adrenaline dump, from open and quarterfinals to starting off-season programming, is essentially a preview week of off-season 1. So you guys will get basically one lift, one accessory, one conditioning, one skill, and it's going to explain to you within it how it's going to be programmed in the next week. And you can take out some of the guesswork that oftentimes is in a test week or a week 1 of a program. So make sure, if you plan on following off season 1, that you get started or you subscribe the week of 4/6. And then the week of 4/13, off season 1 will start. You will have the strength bias or conditioning bias path that you can be on. And then something that I've done for remote athletes, and honestly a lot of athletes who just reach out, is a hybrid version. So we're going to do a little workshop video where I give you guys the template and show you what things go on what days, and you can come up with your version of what that is. And that's sort of bridging the gap between remote coaching. Like I rarely have a remote coaching athlete where it's 5 days a week of conditioning bias or 5 days a week of strength bias.
Yeah.
And part of that could be due to schedule, could be because they're more open athlete, volume wise. But a lot of times it's because it's not really one size fits all. Like, yeah, I need to have the strength bias, but I'm good at pressing, or I'm good at squatting, or I'm good at deadlifting, that sort of thing. So that will all be on there. Last but not least, this episode of the podcast, as well as the rest of them, are brought to you by Gorilla Mind. You can head to gorillamind.com/misfit or use the code word misfit at checkout. You save on your order and you support our show. We've had really good support thus far, and I've got a lot of DMs about how much people are liking the products. So just a kind of a hat tip to you guys. I appreciate you guys supporting the podcast. I just ordered, I got two things. I just ordered Gorilla Dream for the first time to test out their sleep supplement. And
What's in it?
I wanted to talk about this because I'm super sensitive to these things, and dosage is super important. Personally, the way that, and it's not like, me being a 200-pound male, well, I wish, 190-pound male these days. Like, a lot of times I need a little bit more of something, but when it comes to this, it's definitely not the case. If I take the recommended dose of most sleep supplements, I have the craziest dreams, and like my sleep metrics are sort of all messed up. So I'm definitely going to start with, they have dosing instructions of like, basically if you're small or sensitive, I'm one of those things, then start with, whatever, a smaller dose. But the reason I added it to my cart is because they had a deal where if you spend $100,
They got you.
get glycerol.
Okay.
I've been fascinated by this for a while and I've never tried it. It's basically for liquid retention.
I have it.
And do you?
I'd never used it though. I don't really know how.
So the idea would be pre-endurance event. Like I know whenever I've been on an endurance kick, my body can't handle the level of hydration, like the amount of times that I have pissed on like the side of the road or in the woods, getting off my bike or like on a run is more than 20. So it's hard for me to hydrate in that way. Like my body's not trained for it. And then like 6 weeks away from being a 40-year-old, and sometimes I got a tinkle in the middle of the night. So that would be another use case for it, where you have better water retention. So it'd be basically like, I know that like fighters use it, endurance athletes use it, and apparently old men use it. I don't know how many old men are going on gorillamind.com, but anyways, I added the sleep supplement so that, because glycerol is like $40 or $50. So I was like, all right, I'm in. Like I'll just add this to try it, that sort of thing. And I know that I can always pawn if the sleep stuff doesn't work well for me, like I'm a pretty good sleeper, I can pawn it off on my wife pretty quickly. So I'm very interested to try both of those things, and I will.
Deal. Yeah, I have it. I bought it because it was like a bundle. They got me too. But I haven't used it. It kind of scares me because it's liquid, and I'm like, I don't know what it's going to taste like. I haven't even opened it. Yeah.
I was going to say, sniff it first. I don't know if it's flavored, what the deal is.
Right, exactly.
I do a lot of I've gotten to the point where I have to be very no fuss about my supplement taking. Like this morning, I don't put creatine in my smoothie in the morning because my son tries to steal a lot of it. Like this morning, he was yelling at me that even though he had his mini one, he wanted my big one.
Of course.
As I'm leaving, he's literally pounding on the door, the window. I want the big smoothie. And I'm like, it's my breakfast, dude. And he's like, so you think that matters to me, dude? I don't care. Give me the big smoothie. So I just 4 tablespoons of water, 7 grams of creatine, just swish it up down the hole. It doesn't really taste like anything. It's a little mealy, but it doesn't taste like anything. So I will probably put a capful of glycerol into a cup, a tiny bit of water down
Shoot it down. It's fair.
Yeah.
Still nasty.
I don't have the space in my days anymore to get cute with stuff like that.
Yeah,
because otherwise I just don't take it.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
I have to keep it in a very convenient spot too.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if it's like, again, it's up there on my shelf, so that also doesn't help my case of taking it.
Yeah. All right, let's do some leaderboards. So we have 26.3 leaderboard and prize. I think almost everyone has reached out to me. I think there might be one straggler. If you've won a prize, please reach out to me. But I think almost everyone has now. So we'll give away a prize for that. And then we're going to double the prize for the overall. So we're going to do 26.3 women, 26.3 men, overall women, overall men, and we'll go through the prizes. So let's pull this bad boy up here. 26.3 women. Kenzie Riley, Elena Pomerisi, Lindsay Hoffman, Adrian Winges, Kelly Clark, Paige Semenza, Ashley Drabicki, Kaylin Mitchell, Peyton Forsyth, and Missy G. Those are your top 10. And the drawing is from, so shout out to all of them for crushing 26.3, but the drawing is from everybody that's on the list. So Paige, you got your random number generator going?
Yep. Out of the 19, we got 8.
Kaylin Mitchell. Congratulations. Reach out to me. I am at Misfit Coach on Instagram and Telegram. Coach@misfitathletics.com is my email. All right. 26.3 gentlemen. Kyle Moline, Adam Salmani, Anthony Greco. I like saying Anthony. Tyler Kluver, Shane Lloyd. Okay, here we go. DJ Zmachinsky.
Right.
Yeah. No, I gotta, he basically told me, shout out, he did get 1.5 times gift card for telling me how to pronounce his name. He said a lot of his family tells people the Z is silent, but it's actually not. So I could say Machinsky, but it's Zmachinsky, I think. I even looked it up. DJ, tell me how I did. That was 6th place, 7 through 10. Wyatt Mell, John Domick, Nicholas Cole Butler, and Hunter Stewart. Well done on 26.3. Gents, Paige, what do we got for a winner?
18.
18 is Nicholas Becker. Reach out to me at Misfit Coach everywhere except for, like, I don't know, TikTok or Friendster. Coach@misfitathletics.com. All right, now we're going to do the overall. One thing that was interesting and really lends to our GPP reign supreme is the scores don't really... I had to do a lot of manual scores. That was a pain in the ass. I will not do that next year, but we'll put the information out sooner. It's pretty similar. Like when you put someone in, because I had to put them in overall and the workout, they're almost always in the same spot.
Mm-hmm.
And that was the case across the workouts, which is kind of cool. So overall, ladies, top 10, Kenzie Riley, Elena Pomerisi, Lindsay Hoffman, Paige Semenza, Kelly Clark, Adrian Winges, Emma Hagstrom, Peyton Forsyth, Kaylin Mitchell, and Ashley Drabicki. Shout out in 11th place while doing Masters semifinals prep, Missy G. All right, Paige, this is the double gift card.
Out of 19, who is in 12th?
Caitlin Nolan. There you go, Caitlin.
Vibes.
Well done. Reach out to me. I know you will. Also, you said you could only do strict handstand push-ups in the winter, and I really wanted Barrow to kind of jump in and say something. I thought he would take care of that. I got to know what that means.
Yeah, what does that mean?
There was one comment a while back where he said this is the most Caitlin post ever. I think I can only do handstand push-ups in the winter. Might now be first place.
What?
And I'm pretty sure she said that. She said, I can also only do them in the winter. I was like, that's amazing.
Wow.
What does that mean?
I mean, I'm cold in the winter. Those shoulders are not warming up. Crazy.
I have said this on the podcast quite a few times. The first time I ever did 20 unbroken, I was nude in a hotel room. I just want to throw that out there.
Post-shower or pre-shower?
What?
Post-shower?
Pre-shower. Yes,
okay.
Pre-shower. Yeah, I can't. No. I'd be too sweaty the rest of the day. Something about those walls, barefoot, just cruising. All right. Overall, gentlemen, Adam Salmani with the victory. Congratulations. Adam Salmani, Kyle Moline, Tyler Kluver, Shane Lloyd, Antonio Greco, Wyatt Mell, Christian Bergseth, DJ Zmachinsky, it's getting easier, John Domick, Hunter Stewart. Well done, gents. Top 10 overall, Misfits. In the open, who wins the double prize?
We're going way to the back. 20.
All right. 5th? I'm gonna kibosh that. This person didn't do 26.2. So we got a few people on here.
Bye-bye. All right, we're
If
going.
you know who you are and you feel slighted, reach out to me and we'll make it right. If you don't know who you are and you're not listening, it is what it is, but you got to do all of the workouts to get the full price.
All right, we'll take it back to the front of the pack. 6th.
Wyatt Mel.
Oh, he's going to be so excited.
Listen, Paige is out here giving the prizes to her fucking
Listen, I could
remote
show
clients.
you this is random number
She
generator.
also doesn't have the list that I have. I don't share that with her, so she couldn't have done that. But Wyatt, congratulations.
He's going to be so excited.
You know where to find me. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so we're going to start this. We're going to do open recap first before we do the quarterfinals stuff. 0.1, 12 minutes of wall balls and box jumps. 26.2, 8 to 15 minutes of lunging, snatching, bar pull, and some ring gymnastics. 26.3, 16 minutes of burpees, cleans, and thrusters. Now, we will give you our opinions, but I want to address how we deal with this information. This is data for us. This gives us more data to collect, not only in what the workouts are, but how you guys did, what the stimulus was, all of that. And that goes into how we think about open prep. That goes into for remote coaches and someone says, man, I just never get better at the open. If you want to work on that, we'll work on it. So this is data for us. That is what we are going to talk about for the most part. Opinions, me, I've got whiteboards all back there, and on none of them does it say medium duration, medium duration, medium duration, medium duration, squat, 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 right? So I learned how to program at first from the CrossFit Journal and the variance within that, with the lifting, with the short workouts, with the long workouts. I have no clue how they're thinking about this. If it's like affiliate perspective, is 3 medium the same as short, medium, and long in terms of the total volume that they're doing? I have no clue. And while I would like to see what I would consider better programming, I'm not taking the affiliates into consideration at all.
Yeah.
I'm really not. That's just not the way that I think about this.
When you've like came up with a short, medium, long duration within Misfit, was that also based off of like, obviously it's based off of like looking at so much programming, right? And like kind of finding patterns.
I'm not going to lie, I don't remember. So what Paige is referencing is if we're in the programming meeting and you've got a short or you've got a medium, and we get into that weird, 7, 8, 9 minute range, how are we classifying it? Are we saying it's a short workout? Does it fit into that or there? Are we saying it's a medium workout? And oftentimes the stimulus itself, the way that it's executed will dictate how we feel about it. If it is 8 or 9 minutes long and it's like, well, people are getting stuck and they're kind of standing around a little bit, then in terms of energy system pathways, we're probably dealing with something that feels a little bit more medium, whereas a lot of 26.2 felt very short, kind of blasting through, and then, oh, there's the rings, there's this part of the workout. I would have to go back and look. It is definitely based on, a lot of the information that got me down the rabbit holes of energy systems, of the pathways within the body that are, the fuel sources that are being used, et cetera, came from the CrossFit Journal, but then branched out into other places.
Yeah.
So I would probably have to go back and read again to know exactly where the specific information came from. But, one of the easiest ways to think about it is the real gross, your mile run, your 2K row, things of that nature, and what happens to pacing as we bleed beyond that. As we get into that weird, gray area of timing that is medium workouts. So
that's a good
question. And I don't necessarily know the answer, but I do know what a short workout looks like, feels like, sounds like. And 26.2 doesn't really fit into that.
Yeah.
For 99% of the population.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay.
Because a lot of the people found out that if they had to back off a little bit, they had to back off a little bit to be able to go execute, which means to me that the pathway we were tapping out of, sort of that longer short duration type thing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the thinking of it from like the 1 mile run, 2K row, paints a better picture.
What is your opinion on the programming, both from a coach, programmer, and then over to you executed the workouts?
I mean, you definitely felt very gas stimulus throughout all three of them. Obviously, there's that muscle endurance component in them, but I think for most, it's all gas. From an affiliate standpoint, definitely very accessible, right? Like, I think it's low barrier to entry as far as like if you run heats at your gym or if it's kind of even a free for all, like you can manage it either way. And then like my own standpoint, it's like, well, I like wall balls and box jumps. My pulling, like, sneaky pulling fatigue, right? Like that was deceiving kind of workout. I'm 26.2 and then 26.3, like, I don't love that there was more squatting involved, especially being a thruster and being very much, another version of a wall ball. So, but I did like the variants, having barbell cycling, having the burpees in there. Like, as far as like making them hurt and like challenging even the fittest on earth with the time caps, I really did like that because it's like it is accessible for everybody, but also like Dave found a way to push the best of the best in a different way. It wasn't heavier weight, it wasn't bigger rep schemes. It was like, all right, we'll just shorten this up and see if you can move faster. And I really like that because it's like I feel like we haven't gotten away from it, but we haven't seen it in something as simple as the open. And I like that.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. It's so easy for me to complain and then play devil's advocate. Like I could literally I could do a show where I set up 2 cameras and I argue with myself. I like jump back over to Paige's side. It seems like he was trying to accomplish one thing in 3 opportunities, because in a vacuum, there's nothing wrong with any of this. I personally don't like, let's do 8 or 9 minutes of something and then stand there for 6 minutes and look at the rings.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't think that's necessary. I know that a muscle up variant seems to have to be in there basically every year, but I'm not sure why. I don't understand that part of it. There are just little pieces where there are movements that feel like an obsession, and the like whole unknown and unknowable thing. It's like, we're going to talk about what was surprising, what was not surprising. It's like, spoiler, there weren't very many surprises.
Yeah.
When it comes to these workouts. So that part of it to me is just kind of 15-minute workout is interesting because we often talk about him removing fluff from workouts. Like, how much different is that workout if it's 17, 18, 19 minutes long? You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to be, you're probably not going to end up with a huge difference in where people are on the leaderboard. And I don't know whether he does it on purpose, but it looks like he does it on purpose at the games, where a lot of workouts that if it was a semifinal or a quarterfinal, they would be pushed in one direction or the other. And they don't necessarily need the extra minute or two when you see the gaps that are created by the best in the sport. So again, it's easy for me to go in both directions, but I want to bring it back to, this is information for us as coaches. Mm-hmm. And you can talk about that from a macro aspect, or you can go in, and if you as an athlete have an outlier in there, it needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you're fit enough to be way higher than your muscle up score, then you're moving in some pretty rough movement patterns, or maybe you've got some mobility issues, that sort of thing. So it's definitely data for us. Surprises, no double unders, rowing, or wall walks. Any of those individually would be like, oh, they finally decided not to do that thing. But all 3 of those is pretty surprising. Those are close to like, check the box, yes, we're going to do it sort of a thing. The beautiful thing here is I like the stimulus of all 3 of those movements, and I will not apologize nor stop programming them. So that part is good. Like if it was a silly movement, if it was like they do pistols every year and I made you guys do 1,000,000 pistols and then they didn't do them and you were like, you owe me from knee surgery or something, like, then I would understand. But there's good stimulus with all 3 of those movements. Mm-hmm. We told you guys that there were only 4 things that you needed to be good at to excel in the open, and one of them wasn't in there. On the lowest level, you could say that holding that single dumbbell overhead for the lunges, kind of. But when you remove the element of having to, basically have both arms connected to something, whether it's independently with the dumbbell or, both of them going overhead with a barbell, it's a little bit easier for people to get one dumbbell stacked up overhead. So there's like a slight bit of overhead mobility, stability, but that's an element of every open, and it wasn't really this year. Again, though, access to strength, to making, your dip easier, your, holding the dumbbell overhead easier, having, the wall balls, the thrusters, your front rack position. Again, we're not going to ever shy away from overhead mobility, stability. And then, I don't know, the only kind of programming-wise surprise to me was relying that heavily on the wall balls and thrusters. This is 3 workouts. It's 3 weeks.
And it wasn't like low volume. Like, it was 144 of thrusters. How many? Oh, 72. But it was a lot still.
Yes.
And then the wall balls, you're like smashed on those, right? So, yeah, definitely some overkill. If you were to change one of them, which one would you change? If you look at just the programming as a whole at this point of the open, of the 2 movements, the wall balls and thrusters.
It's tough to pick one because I liked the implementation of both.
Yeah. Okay.
That part of it, it would be really easy for me if you said, okay, 26.1, got to get rid of the wall balls. I'm probably going to rowing and box jumps. I'm going to keep it real bare bones. And then that separator of this workout feels okay and I'm doing all right. And then each time you have to do more thrusters and the weight increases, that becomes a huge issue for people. I would probably change the thrusters, I think. I would change the thrusters. I would give people an opportunity to get further into the workout. And maybe, honestly, in my head, I was like, oh, just make them all 95 pounds. That would make the workout better. But that then makes it still wall balls and thrusters. So it's really just, for me, about it being both. I'm okay, again, in a vacuum with the way that both of those workouts were. But
redundancy.
Both of them. Yeah. Just kind of whatever. What was not surprising about the open? Thrusters, burpees, chest bar pull-ups, muscle-up variant, snatch, wall balls. So we basically got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the 9 workouts, or the 9 movements that we expected to get, which isn't again, super.
No toast bar too. You weren't surprised about that?
I wasn't there a little over half of the opens, and it's really just what we'll get into in a bit is there's no toast to bar in either.
Right. Okay.
I
guess that's
surprising.
More,
Yes. So the combination of the two, is definitely a thing there. Okay, here's what's not surprising, even though I don't like it. In the lifting era, there was 65% of the workouts were medium duration. In this era, 75% of the workouts are medium. So we had that information already. We already knew that. And we gave you way too many medium duration intervals to deal with that volume at a higher intensity. This year was 100%. Congratulations. Every workout is medium duration. They definitely felt different, for sure. They had a different feel to them. 26.3 felt a lot longer than 26.1.
Yes.
When you watched people's body language.
Yeah, true.
A lot different. So that part of it, again, whether we like it or not, doesn't matter. Not that surprising. Workout styles were pretty status quo, although were they really for time? 70% or so of open workouts are for time. I don't know that these were for time.
Yeah.
I got a lot of really solid athletes on these lists over here, and it says reps next to their score and not an actual time. So I'm not so sure that those are actually for time. The second one was definitely for time, but the first and the third were AMRAPs for just about everybody. We got our couplet, we got our movement family chippers, triplets, that sort of thing. None of that is surprising. And then I basically just went into the other things that we told you had to be good at. GPP was staggeringly in your face. Everything other than the 20 muscle ups was just in your face. How fit are you? And that's what the open is trying to test. and it kind of has to because of the accessibility piece. Grip strength and hollow arch efficiency was definitely tested. People found some shit out about themselves when they went up for that first muscle up. Saw a lot of videos, that first muscle up, you could just tell people were like, oh,
I should send you
I don't
my
feel
video.
that bad right now. I don't feel that bad right now. I feel terrible, right?
I did 3 and I
So-
come down and I was like, whoa. And I look at McKenna. I'll have to send you that
McKenna was
video.
there, wasn't? I
Yeah.
could tell in your video that McKenna was there. You're like, hey, this is not, I didn't think that was coming. Yeah. And then barbell and dumbbell pulling, being able to use your legs. That's always going to be in there. The power clean, the power snatch, the dumbbell snatch, your ability to, it's CrossFit, right? Quarter extremity. Are you able to do that? Or are you just doing the old bend and snap and causing issues? So final thoughts on the open. Feel free to take this in any direction you want. You got to wear a lot of hats. You write workouts for people. You coach at the affiliate. You coach remotely. You execute the workouts. You judge workouts. What are your final thoughts on all of it after it's all said and done?
I mean, when I think of like the evolution of CrossFit and how fit people have gotten and how it's trying to become a professional sport, it is professional sport. I think something like this makes sense. Like, it's a good narrow test. It's a filtration system, and like it's highly accessible. So like that's all. I'm going to always come back to that because of, again, it being a worldwide test, it being something that affiliates need to manage. And it's, I don't know, I think when I look at it from that standpoint, it's like, yeah, redundancy in movements, but could an affiliate have a great open? Yeah, I think so. I mean, I've seen it here. I know Vertex had a great outcome with it. A lot of people moving to quarterfinals. So again, that filtration system is working and it's still something that is accessible for a lot of people. But when I think back to when I was getting into the open and how hard they were and how high skill things had gotten, like pretty early on, like I still love that stuff. So like I do
It's
miss
the only part of it I liked.
Yeah, like I still miss some part of that, but again, it's
Yeah.
also like why you move on to the next stage. And if you have those things and you don't get to express it in the open, you're still going to have your chance to do so.
Yeah, the never having we're getting to a point. So one of and this will end up being a pretty good segue. I'll try not to get too ranty, but I'm feeling it after the last few days. Feeling the rant just bubbling inside of me. One of the things that we talk about when we analyze competition programming is we say, if it just happens this time, then that is part of variance. Not being that varied is part of variance in a way until it isn't. And there are just things that are just like, it's like every year, it's like we do it's just medium duration workouts the whole time or most of the time. There's no lift anymore. And the lift is the easiest way to have something where you show off the muscle up, but then the other person does the exact same thing at just infinitely scalable. And I'm not saying this open needed it. I'm saying a open needs it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't know if HQ, and it's probably just Dave, cares about the other stuff other than the games. Because it's always like, well, he doesn't even program this, or he programmed this one, and this person programmed this one, and then this unknown seminar staff person sent him this one. I don't fucking like that.
Yeah.
Right? Like, he's supposed to be the guy and the mastermind. And like, I got to give him credit. When he's trying, he's so good at it. And his only experience is the thing. Like, you would think, because he's not a programmer otherwise, as far as I know. And maybe he did back in the day. I don't know. But he's got a very keen eye and mind for it. And I don't know that he uses it at every opportunity that he can. So it's like, are we just saying that these things don't matter, that the open doesn't matter, that quarterfinals doesn't matter? Well, Boz does the semifinals. And like, again, if Boz did all of it, great. So I don't know. It irks me a little bit that it's like, I don't want there to be a pattern like this. Like, I don't want to be able to guess all of these things. And then going into quarterfinals, what is the deal with like, we're going to just sprinkle details onto you guys as it comes, and we're not even going to explain half of the shit, and everything changes every second. Like, when you said they want it to be a professional sport and that it is a professional sport, there's like a part of me that's rolling my eyes. It's like they're almost
Yeah.
trying to make it not that.
True.
Like the athletes are they make it that. Right?
Yeah, that's true.
That's how I feel about it. The athletes are incredible. You guys that do this are incredible. And you keep getting better. And you're the engine that drives this thing. Without you guys, this thing would crumble in 2 seconds. Like, and that is just so obvious to me. So it's like, I'm talking to remote athletes and it's like, all right, we're going to get started Thursday. And they're like, no, the graphic they posted said Friday. They put graphics on their website and on Instagram that said the 27th through the 30th as key dates that you were allowed to do the workouts. Then they announce that the workouts are coming out early, which is fine. I have no issue with that. No one's gonna, I didn't honestly.
Not
The
gonna
only
get
thing that
fitter
I
in 2
cared about
days.
the leaks only bothered me if they were given to specific people, and that just hopefully there's a level of professionalism that could be put into it.
Mhm.
But we're not doing video review anymore, which makes it so you can't do a password anymore. And then that's not even addressed. They're not saying anything about it. And I know that it's on the integrity of the affiliate to be like, you guys can't let people do these workouts until it's time. That's fine. They didn't say a word about it.
Yeah.
It's like a hinted, implied, nowhere during any of this. And I shouldn't have to tune into a podcast hoping that you guys are going to give me details, and then nothing
Right.
is in there.
Yeah.
Right? This part of it is just so frustrating. And I know that people have their CrossFit messiahs, Greg's the greatest thing ever. Dave's the greatest thing ever. I hate Greg. I hate all, you know what I mean? You have to take this crazy stance on it. And it's I just want this to run in a way that makes sense for the people that really give a shit about it. Because sometimes when they act this way about a level of competition, I think they're forgetting. Dave thought quarterfinals didn't matter and he got rid of it. And he lost I don't know, 100,000 people, whatever it was. I don't know how many people, a lot of people. And it's he's like, oh, I didn't know this mattered. And it's it kind of makes sense that you didn't know. You should know. But I can see how you wouldn't.
Yeah.
He does the interviews with the games athletes and he's like, I have no clue who this person is. And it's everyone on earth knows this person. So I don't.
It's so strange. He's he's literally under a rock, but also.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on there.
But also, you have the most inclusive
fully...
sport on the planet.
Yeah, you get you can understand how that works when you meet him.
Mm-hmm.
It's a weird interaction.
He's
strange. Talking to you and seeing if he can leave and move on to the next.
Yeah.
And I'm not
literally
applying that directly
every conversation.
I'm not saying I'm important and that he's skipping over me. And the only thing he ever says to anyone about Misfit is he talks about Travis Williams. He's like, oh yeah, Misfit, you had that fat guy. I'm like, yes, thank you so much, Dave. That is the sum total of the fucking 15-year history of Misfit Athletics. So yeah, I don't know. That's a fairly light version of my rant. I don't think I need to go any further than that, but it's just as we deal with this stuff and I'm talking to athletes and we're arguing over the dates of a competition. I don't know, man. Can you guys stop that? That'd be so sick.
Just to have it it could be so clear and direct, and yet it's not.
Yeah. Yep.
It doesn't seem that hard.
All right. So I will reiterate, if you would like the full conversation tomorrow, Wednesday, 9 a.m. Eastern, you will receive a link via email and on Telegram if you're in our Telegram or you were signed up for our programming. If you listen to this podcast today on Tuesday, you will receive that this afternoon. So that is the full one. Paige and I are just going to kind of off the cuff talk a little bit about these workouts. So workout number 1, 10 50-foot shuttle runs, 20 overhead squats at 115/80, 30 burpees over the bar, rest 1 minute. And then you do that in reverse. A gargantuan time cap of 12 minutes. That time cap is crazy.
Wild. That one's pretty wild.
I don't know what's happening there, right? You throw a 12-minute and a 16-minute time cap on 0.1 and 0.3 for everyone. And then now you have narrowed it down to people who can go faster
And you
Maybe it's
widen.
because it's like, if you made it, you need to, I'm not like going to save you. Maybe that's the devil's advocate there.
That's a fair point.
Either way, I mean, there's nothing to say about this other than the purple devil smiling emoji.
Yeah.
This is like, the fitter you are, the harder you go. Most athletes do this workout unbroken and fast.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's really just because for the best athletes, they don't like 115/80 is not going to change for them from the 95/65. It's not going to be any difference for the high level athletes. And it's like, maybe you drop the bar on the first set of 20 if you're, lower down as a quarterfinals athlete, and then see if you can go unbroken in the back half. But like, this workout is just dirty. And you're starting off with, if you did this workout first, this like, wait a minute, didn't I just do this? Didn't I just do burpees and see how well I can squat and stabilize overhead? Anyways. So yeah, this one's like, I'm not mad about the workout. Like, it's cool to see them make, because a lot of times the sprinty, nasty workout has a weight component to it, where like your true meatheads will get after it. Whereas this is not a meathead special. That's for damn sure.
Especially, I mean, if you are a meathead, like, you basically have 60 burpee over the bar.
Yeah.
A minute's going to go by fast. So
Yep.
It is very much fitness. It'll be, and I mean, we've done a lot of intervals where it's like, start out a little bit slower in interval 1, try to get a little bit faster in interval 2. It's like you guys have an idea of really how to approach that. Your different burpee speeds, things like that. So you do have a lot of athlete IQ for this workout, I think.
Yeah, for sure. Workout number 2, you could tell Boz wrote this bad boy right here for time completed anyhow. 80 double dumbbell hang squat cleans with the 50/30s and 40 bar muscle ups. Another whopping time cap of 15 minutes. Why are you going to make them look at the bar like that? Why, like, that would be me.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, pull up bar, how are you doing? Maybe we can sneak 2 more of these muscle ups. Like, ugh, gross.
It
You're
is
being penalized.
But this is it's also the one where, like, if you get the right strategy, like, how much that will pay off dividends in that kind of workout. I like the partition as needed.
Yeah, I mean, we are so obsessed with athlete IQ that it's fun to see them be like, do you have one?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that part of it to me is really cool. That was the first thing that I thought. And then what you don't want to do, and I don't know how many of you listening to this out there program workouts, but what you don't want to do is think of like 90 different scenarios. You want to think of, like, I go to Paige and I say, all right, we're going to do a short to medium duration, double dumbbell hang squat clean workout with bar muscle ups. I'm thinking like 80 and 40 total volume. Try to make it as cardio-y as you can.
Yeah.
Like that sort of thing. That's where my mind goes. Now, for different athletes, that execution will be different, right? Like, do you got to jump all the way from like a set of 8 to a set of 5? Or could you go like 5-5-4-4 because you have a little bit, you're actually fit, you got a little bit more muscle endurance, that sort of thing. So it would change from athlete to athlete depending on energy systems, muscle fiber type, size, skill level, all of that. But like, what are the workouts that feel the easiest while you're doing them? And I'm going to tell you right now, it's not an ascending rep scheme, right?
I heard of 1 or 2 of those. Yeah, I heard some athletes chirping about ascending rep schemes, and I'm just like, really? That sounds insane.
You could, yeah. So ascending rep schemes are funny because you feel so good, and then you feel terrible. It's like a death by. Right. And I'll tell you right now, this workout is mostly dependent on your grip strength and endurance. But, dude, everyone will talk about how bad this workout is just from how do I feel, heart in my, just heart pounding in my chest sort of a thing. Because those movements, you're moving a long distance.
Yeah.
And then the way that you're under load in the double dumbbell with not being able to sort of share the grip intensity with a connected barbell is going to be interesting. So one thing that I will say today, practice that movement above anything else. I don't think you need to test any of these workouts. If you want to take little snippets, that's totally fine. But like that movement, like, can you hook grip a dumbbell? Can you really set that in so that you can do that? Do you know which side you want your hand on, like up against one of the sides or the back because of the way that it's going to swing in that movement? So like check the movement standards and then grab some dumbbells and get after it. And movement flaws will show up in a massive way at a heavier weight. So if you're a woman and 35 pounds is fine, grab 40s, grab 45s, grab 50s as you're working your way up.
Yeah.
And really think about the movement cost as you're doing it, because that is that annoying thing where like you've got a 2-for-1 situation. Like, oh yeah, I could do 7, 6, 5 muscle ups. How are those going to feel with 14, 12, 10 of the dumbbell hang squat cleans in between? So,
and I will say,
just something to put out there.
Yeah, if you looked at the movement standards on the website, don't hold them the way Allison Scudds is holding them. I'll say that much.
Okay, fair enough. What do you think about this workout?
All grip. Like I definitely gas, like just the dynamic turnover of a bar muscle up.
The fitter you are, the grippier it will feel.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the more you can just handle what it is. Because like people get obsessed with that. And it's like, well, if you hit the time cap, your grip's probably not going to be that torched. Like you're just going to be gassed.
Yeah, exactly. But definitely like, and I really like a movement like a dumbbell hang clean. Like I like those and I feel like I get really good hip drive. But again, that's where that gas stimulus of that fast turnover. Like I wouldn't be surprised by like, that's a lot of bar muscle ups and grip fatigue for me. That's all I know. So it'll be interesting to see like how to approach it. Cause obviously I think everyone's going to be slightly different. Like, what do you, like, I'm already hearing like EMOM this or EMOM that. What are your thoughts there of thinking as an EMOM right away?
No.
I was talking to some athletes.
I just can't.
And I'm like, I have to marinate on it.
I can't put myself into the headspace of people who try to make a trick. The amount of people that have asked me, like, do you think I should like go like 30 on, 30 off in this? I'm like, are you fucking insane? Like, just gas your, not this, but like a workout.
Yeah.
And it's like those kinds of things make no sense. Now, if you put way too much work into a short period of time and then rest, maybe you do end up within 10% of what your score would be. But like, it doesn't make any sense to stand around.
Rest.
Do smaller sets. Do something that is more reasonable and stay moving.
Yeah.
Right? Because someone will choose the opposite and they will get a really long ways through this and then run into a wall. And we don't want either of those things to happen, right? We're not going to do 40 rounds of 1 and 2. That'd be wild. That's a lot of transitions, kind of just adding a little extra time there. And then we're probably not doing 2 rounds of 20 and 40. So like, where do we live in between? How do you handle that sort of stuff?
Yeah.
But no gimmicks, no tricks. There's nothing there. There will be one athlete who does really well and their strategy will be weird. And then just go look at their name and their competition history and accept the fact that they're really fit.
Yeah.
Because that happened with Vellner when Vellner crushed everybody in the partition as needed. He did bigger chunks of movements in the row wall muscle up. Yeah. And I could tell you right now that this workout is not like that.
Yeah. Like, obviously the thought of an EMOM, I'm like, I have to marinate on this more. Like, I could see why choosing an EMOM makes sense, but also, like you said,
now, what do you mean by an EMOM? You're keeping yourself to a clock
4.
of like, I want to be able to accomplish this much as an EMOM.
Yeah. So like, for example, their initial thought was like 8 dumbbell hang squat cleans, 4 bar muscle ups, 10 rounds of that.
10 rounds of it or every minute on the minute?
Done as every minute on the minute. So like you're getting 30 to 40.
But what if you need no rest at the beginning and more rest?
Right.
That those ideas just don't make a ton of sense to me. Now, here's one element to this, and I really like it when I tune in to listen to another coach that I respect speak, and they're like, we'll find out. we think this, but like, we'll see,
Mhm.
right? There are
a good point.
people with the ego of, I'm going to tell you exactly how this is, even though no one's ever done it. You know what I mean? And then also, again, the problem with the content and the videos and all that is we've probably got 6 or 7 avatars of this athlete, this athlete, this athlete within Misfit Athletics. And like, that needs to be addressed. It's going to be completely different. There are people that can do bar muscle ups all day long, and their strategy is going to be a lot different than someone who struggles with those. Like, way different.
Yeah.
Like, you're probably going to get the dumbbell hang squat cleans done with a decent amount of them left so that you can just move and get more reps. Because if you just wait around to get those 4 or 3 or 2 bar muscle ups done when you can't, when you could be doing squat cleans, then, you know, your tie breaks are going to be all messed up, that sort of thing. So the strategies they're not endless, but there's at least 5 good ones.
Yeah. So also TLDR, don't get cute, basically, is what we're saying.
Dude. Yeah. I love a gimmick. Like, give me blood restriction cuffs on my eyeballs, and I'm going to do Wim Hof breathing before, and I'm going to butt chug glycerol. No. Do your work. Get to fucking work, people. Work hard in the off season.
Nasty.
Make it varied. I can't help myself when I get fired up. The gimmicky stuff is just like, and I think I'll go into some personal psychology here. I think I looked for them both as a coach and an athlete for a long time, and they do not exist, right? They do not exist anywhere. If you are the fittest athlete on earth and you are looking for this tiny edge and you got this weird thing you do, great. But like, we're all just so far away from our genetic potential that could be reached through habits that everyone knows about, that like, thinking of these things is just silly. And that translates down to workout strategies, right? We've gotten away from a lot of that. Like, I was sent a lot of different stuff throughout the open if it contradicted what we said. And they were all really solid points, like variations of things. I didn't see any super extreme dumb shit this year. I saw a lot of really sound, like, explanations of workouts and whatnot. So I think the level of coaching has also like gotten to a really high level with the athletes, which is cool to see, because we just used to have the craziest people be talking about different style of plates and how far you stand away from the wall. And, you know, you've got your 20-second timer and you're going to do this many of this and that many of that. And people just wanted like something cool to focus on. But luckily we've gotten away from that. All right. Workout 3. 3 rounds, 50 dubs, 10 deadlifts, 2 rounds, 50 dubs, 10 deadlifts, 1 round, 50 dubs, 10 deadlifts. Weights go 225, 275, 315 for the gents, 155, 185, 225 for the women. Honestly, all of these time caps are kind of
like
crazy.
Yeah.
It's 300 deadlifts or 300 deadlifts. Yeah, fuck yeah, let's go. It is I should go back and edit in that I got fired up in this episode. And if you're the person that doesn't like it when we curse, you're going to get some headphones for this one when you're in the kitchen with the little ones. Yeah, this is a cool workout, right? I mean, it's like so different if you're fit, and then even a little bit more different. So I would say if you're super fit, this is just exactly what you think it is.
Yeah.
Do what is written on the page and as quickly as you can. Now, one tier below that, it depends on if you like deadlifts or double unders or not, right? Because that changes your strategy. You want to, in a workout like this, break things up earlier on that are a problem to make sure your transitions are there, so that you have the possibility of like, you know what, I can do 50 dubs and 10 deadlifts at 315, 225. Like, I saved it. I've got it in the tank. I can like black out and get this done. That sort of thing. Yeah. I mean, it's super straightforward.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't like the movements, then it changes a little bit, but it's very straightforward, like the first one.
Yeah. Like, I like the simplicity behind it. And like, we always know that the ones that are simple on paper are really, really spicy. But I think with something like, you know, this is obviously the heavy barbell considered in quarterfinals. So it's interesting that they made it a deadlift. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But like, again, accessible, can be a race, you know, like, I think that's
for
fun.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there isn't a whole lot else to say about it. One of the things we're definitely going to talk about in the call tomorrow is the way that you move with the barbell. My goodness. Like, if you get squatty with that thing, you are going to hate the last probably 2 rounds of this workout. You're going to be able to survive the first 4 rounds, and then the last 2 rounds are going to get ugly, and people are just going to walk right past you that move a little bit better than you do. All right, last but not least, 1K row, 30 clean and jerk. So 1K row, Grace, 1K row, 30 strict handstand push-ups. The most polarizing of opinions of workouts that we get from people. A lot of people are like, I love this because I love strict handstand push-ups. And then obviously the opposite. I apologize to Caitlin that it is not winter.
I mean, it's kind of cold here.
Okay.
I don't know where
she's
lives,
up in Canada somewhere.
Oh, so it's got to be cold.
Yeah. It is not cold here. Holy smokes. It's hot as hell here.
Jealous.
Yeah. So what do you think? What is your initial reaction to this workout?
I mean,
you probably see the fourth thing immediately, correct?
What do you mean?
Do you zero in as an athlete on the strict handstand push-ups?
Me personally, I'm like, what is my row pace going to be so that I feel good on the other 2 movements? Because yeah, I do, but like my strict handstand push-ups have also come a long way.
Yeah.
But I mean, just the accumulating fatigue before getting to those is like,
sure,
that's a lot of work to do before you get to that final component.
Yep, right.
But like movement efficiency on the jerks, clean and jerks in general, like, and then I don't like, I'm a little torn on like, does hard rowing make strict handstand push-ups harder, or like as far as your pressing goes? Because it is, they're opposites, right? Pressing and pulling.
What's always interesting about the push-pull with the strict handstand push-ups specifically is the reason why I tell you guys to stop stretching your wrist to make your grip come back. That actually makes it harder. So the wrist extension is connected to pulling for sure. Like everyone knows that feeling of their grip is fried and they kick up into a handstand. It feels different. And when you're doing a strict variation of a movement and the kinetic chain changes, if there's kind of a kink in what's going on there, that is going to cause more issues. So while like, I know for me personally, love pushing, don't like pulling, I would have to be careful on the row for that to be true. But what's good for Misfit athletes is the amount of one of the main reasons that we do so much zone 2 rowing is for a situation like this, because you should be significantly more efficient at clearing waste while you are rowing at a manageable pace than other people are, because it's a very specific movement pattern, the way that you're moving. Now, with that said, the way that you row, my goodness, that's going to matter quite a bit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, are you flying open, not using your legs, not using your core, that sort of thing. So that will definitely matter. I think the first row is a little bit of a trap, right? I think the first row is a little bit of a trap. I think you get to make more choices on the second row. You got to lock in on that first one and ignore the adrenaline and be in more of that, like, it's so hard for me not to give the full advice right now, but in more of that, like 5K, like that, just that longer duration, like there's still intensity here. This isn't easy, but like if I 6 clean and jerks in, I'm like, then
red
got
flag.
some problems.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, that's kind of the first thing that I was thinking of is like, how much is the effort on the row going to affect my strict handstand push-ups? And obviously the fatigue from all 3 movements prior to that, but like paying attention to how hard the effort is on that second row as well.
Yep. And that's where we have to be smart about that whole too cute thing, because there's both sides of this, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Gonna have some bigger athletes out there that put themselves in a place where getting the last 11 strict handstand push-ups is going to be really hard just because of the work that they've done leading up to that point. And then you're going to have people potentially in the Telegram group that are like, I'm thinking 225 on the rower. And it's like, I don't know.
Right.
Like so we have to find that middle ground.
Yeah.
And we also have to connect it to the piece of it meaning more and you having that adrenaline. In this instance, a 203 is probably going to feel like a 204 or 205. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you can,
Yep.
there's some manipulation that happens there when you're really heightened. I mean, we're going one workout a day for the most part here, like really good fueling, really good warm-ups, really good sleep, all of that. Like, so I think there's an opportunity for people to find that line,
Mhm.
right? There's going to be moments where you're a little bit too far behind it and a little bit too far past it. And in a workout like this, you can definitely correct that. Like you're spending decent chunks of time on those things. But yeah, that one will be, there's definitely like 2 bam workouts. And then there's
Yeah.
2 of like, wow, there could be like a 10% swing in the leaderboard for me, depending on how I execute it.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I was talking about yesterday with 2 of my athletes too.
Also, if you don't like pulling,
Yikes.
pull.
Yikes.
That's an issue. Something we'll talk about tomorrow with order. The order is not defined. The order is athlete dependent.
Yeah.
I will put that out there right now. If anybody tells you it's this, 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 and this, and they don't know you, ignore that information. Yeah. So that is our initial thoughts, more detailed conversation tomorrow. And we are going to finish up the podcast with our new segment, Coaches Are People Too. We've had snack chat, life chat. We've given you our media recommendations. Coaches Are People Too is just free form any of that. You had a great snack? Tell us about it. You watch something cool? Tell us about it. You have a random anecdote and Hunter's going to talk for 45 minutes about fixing his car window? Tell us about it. That's the kind of thing. I did not tell Paige that we were doing this, so I'm going to go first. I'm going to give her just a little bit more of an extension here. So the reason why this podcast is this week versus last week is I did my annual disappear for a few days post-open.
He did, in
was
fact,
short-
disappear.
Yeah, I did.
He did.
It was awesome. I drove into the San Juan Mountains on Monday afternoon and did not emerge from the San Juan Mountains until Thursday afternoon.
Crazy.
I drove around for the most part taking pictures of mountains. And also, so I'll do I don't want to say I'll do it and then not do it. I will probably post a nice little carousel of all my photos because it is crazy down there. It's like Colorado propaganda. Southwest Colorado, the mountain range, like they call it the Switzerland of America. It's just crazy looking. So
That's
I
cool.
do want to post that. But then what I should really post is like maybe I'll do a story version. The photos you take when you are the father of a 2-year-old boy. I have like professional level photos of snowcats, dump trucks, tractor trailer trucks. So it's like this beautiful mountain in the background and I'm in the middle of nowhere and I literally pull over to the side of the road and I'm shooting photos of this like lime green, we call them big rigs around here, 18-wheeler. Big rig's a little bit easier to say for a 2-year-old. So I'm editing my photos and like laughing. I'm like, my brain has completely changed. Like literally
That's so
just like
fun.
a boom lift on the side of the road, like beautiful trees and mountain behind it. I'm like, dude, kid's gonna love this. That thing is sick. Like we go around the neighborhood at night and I put him into the machines on the people who are building houses in the area. Like we'll just break into the construction site and put him in the machine. And he starts talking about where he's going and what he's doing. He's working on a big job site and it's lunchtime or whatever. It's fantastic. So yeah, my enjoy. I get some good snacks. I usually listen to one podcast. I like a constant kind of narrative that goes.
Long hours, yeah.
So I'll do that kind of thing so that I don't necessarily need to pay attention. I would say that I'm allowed to drink energy drinks on road trips, but I started breaking that rule very heavily with the Gorilla Mind.
That
I
you
say it
are
doesn't
or
count.
aren't allowed.
I am. That was the only time I was allowed to
Okay.
back in the day
Okay.
because I really liked the Rehab Monster, the like
Obsessed.
tea and lemonade one.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rockstar had one, their recovery lemonade. That used to be in the vending machine at the gym. And Cody's the kind of person who would be like, come on, dude, let's get one. Let's get one of those. And he'd have one sip and then make me drink the rest of it. He also like invites you out to pizza and is like, come on, fat boy, eat the pizza. And then doesn't get one. And he's the one who
It's
wanted to go to the
rude.
pizza place. Yeah, right? He
Amazing.
just likes watching people eat pizza and drink energy drinks, apparently. So yeah, that's where I was. That's what I was up to. Maybe I'll share some photos on the gram if I get around to it.
I like it.
What's going on with you, Paige?
Gosh, I don't know if most people know, like I live with the owners of the gym right now that I coach at.
In Jersey.
In New Jersey, yeah, and they have 3 young kids. They're 6, 4, and 2, and they have basically become like my best friends because they're just so fun. Yeah, like Rex is the youngest. I'll come home with Chick-fil-A, and he's just like, Paige, can I have a fry? So like I started ordering.
They want your meals.
Yeah, so I started ordering the larger size fries because I know. And Tara, she's like, you need to start eating this in your car. I'm like, I do it on purpose. Like, I don't, it's so fun. Like, it's just,
They make things more fun.
They are
do.
so fun. And like, you know, when you first move in, and I lived by myself previously, like I have 2 cats, which, you know, are basically little tiny self-sufficient like machines. Moving in with 3 kids is very overstimulating, but like it just, you know, it takes some time to get over, like to move past that. And it's like you embrace it and it's just so fun. The kids are, Tara and Steven are awesome. They're so energetic with the kids. Like there's parks everywhere here in New Jersey and they get to like every single one of them.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, they're in sports. They come to the gym. So definitely embracing almost like auntie life, but not, you know?
Yeah.
So bestie life, maybe I'll say that.
I have a pretty strong parallel to this. So prior to having Carter, I wasn't around kids a ton.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't like you just kind of assume that they're like maybe annoying or like a burden or a pain in the butt, right? Because you usually see out in public like that version of them. So I didn't really like know what to expect. And dude, I'm like, if I'm at a birthday party, I'm like reading to the whole crew in the corner and they're like, why are all the babies with Drew? Like they like, and this is not hyperbole from me, could be taking it too far for other people, but like they help restore your faith in humanity.
My God.
Because you remember what it was like to be enthusiastic and like curious and surprised by things.
Mm-hmm.
And like, oh, that is like baked into us and we let it go away or it's conditioned to go away. So like just the wonder of like holding my son up this morning in the window as the garbage truck drives by. We're talking about like he knows every kind of garbage truck. So like that's a side loader and like then it's out of the way and he's like, where did it go? Like so exciting.
Yeah.
It's just a garbage truck driving by and then you start to like see the world that way.
Yeah.
And they steal
so
all your
fun.
food.
So
when I
fun.
weigh and measure now, it's like it's not a scoop of Gorilla Mind or Gorilla Mode whey in my shake anymore. It's like a scoop and a quarter into the smoothie because it's like I got to get my 50 grams.
Yep.
Okay, like I got to be able to get my 50 grams, and he's stealing like 9 of them at least. Tried to steal the whole thing today. So yeah, that's a cool thing to hear you say because you don't really know it until you experience it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it took time, right? Like I can't just go from like living by myself to being in a house of 5 people and, you know, 3 tiny humans at that. So but again, it's just been like, they're so welcoming and they're so loving and like the way that like their kids are being raised with that, like it warms my heart and it's cool to be around it. And it just like reminds me to be present. Like it's so easy to get caught up in it's doing remote work and stuff like that, and they just, you know, help hit the reset button. So it's been a fun experience. My goal is obviously to have my own place eventually, but like if you guys don't know, like New Jersey's very expensive and
yes,
so
it is.
Things just, you know, they worked out the way like I'm very appreciative that they did.
That's awesome.
It's been fun. Yeah, it's been a cool transition.
Super cool. Well, that was your open recap, your quarterfinals knee-jerk reactions. I'll go back through the housekeeping real quick. Group call tomorrow, 9 a.m. Eastern. You need to be signed up for the program and/or in Telegram. Semifinals athletes, get in touch with me so I can tell you when your program starts. post quarterfinals next week. We have cherry picking week. You're going to have a lot of options. A week after that, we will do a week-long preview, low to moderate volume of off-season block 1. And then on April 13th, off-season block 1 starts with our strength or conditioning bias, all that good stuff. As always, this episode of the podcast was brought to you by Gorilla Mind. You can head to gorillamind.com/misfit or use Misfit as a code in your checkout to save and support the podcast. We will either see you tomorrow morning or next week.
You're a scrappy little misfit, just like me.
Biggest bunch of misfits I ever set eyes on.